Welcome back, you guys. This is Carson Stuff. Here's another video, just a quick one. Doing an oil change on the old GS430. First, we're going to start off by removing the belly pan. A handful of about 10 millimeter bolts. Make quick work of it with my little impact driver here. And take a look around, make sure nothing's leaking. And of course, pull out all my stuff. I like to use OEM oil filters. This is the Toyota oil filter. I buy them in bulk because both my GS430 and my LX450 use the same oil filter. Now we're gonna remove the oil plug. Pretty simple. I believe it's like a 17 millimeter. You want to do this carefully so you don't get oil all over yourself. I like to make sure the car is somewhat warm so the oil comes out fast, but not too hot so it doesn't burn you. And of course, I'm going to remove the old gasket. I always replace the gasket for the oil plug. That's the beauty about buying OEM filters. They come with a little gasket for the oil plug. In this case, it's blue. Here we go. Oil's done draining. Now we're going to go ahead and replace the oil plug, the drain plug, that is. Don't tighten this too much, just snug. Okay, it's really easy to go ham on this, but there's absolutely zero need to do that, especially when it's got that gasket on there. Now we're going to move over to removing the oil filter. I went ahead and put my oil filter wrench on my ratchet. It's like a little attachment I bought years ago. There's many different kinds. This one is honestly not my favorite, but I've had it for a long time. I learned to use it. Works with different size filters. So I've got that one and I got a couple other ones, but this is the one that I probably use the most. I'm sure there's a better one out there. So carefully remove the filter. I don't like it. I don't like letting it drop on the oil just because I don't want the oil to splash anywhere. So remove it carefully, drain as much of it as I can, and then pull it out from under the car. Yep. Now I'm going to go ahead and clean the area. Any splish splash going around, I'm going to clean all that. And of course, I'm going to fill up the new oil filter. This isn't 100% necessary, right? But it is good practice. When you get your oil changed at a shop, they generally won't do this. They're just going to lube that oil ring, that O-ring, I'm sorry. They're going to lube that O-ring and then spin it on there, and that's it. In this case, on the GS430, the oil sits straight up, the oil filter sits straight up and down. And you know, when you go to spin it on, none of it's going to come out. It's pretty easy to go ahead and do it on engines where the oil filter sits sideways. For example, like the LX450, it's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more difficult. You end up spilling some of it, but I still do it. You just got to be quick about it. So yep, we're going to spin it right on there, and hand tight is good enough. Just hand tight. No need to go ham. Not too tight. And that makes it a lot easier to remove. Obviously, I do my oil changes every 5,000 miles, even though I use full synthetic. That's why you saw the Kirkland oil there. It's full synthetic. It's fine to last to 5,000 miles. Now we're going to reinstall the belly pan back on. Believe it or not, it's a little bit more of a pain to install it back on than it is to remove it when you don't have a lift, which I don't have. In this case, I just jack up one side of the vehicle, put a jack stand, keep my my jack right there, and but I always like to use a jack stand just for good measure. All right, time to let the vehicle down. So we're gonna go up a little bit on the car. I don't think I like the spot where I was necessarily lifting up the car right then and there, so readjusted my jack. Going up. This jack is old, guys. I've had this jack for I don't know, over 10 years. But it still works. It leaks a little bit, so I put hydraulic fluid in it every now and then. And yes, that is my the engine of my GS430. It's got a little engine cold air intake. Always clean your funnels, by the way, guys. You know, they collect dust, etc. Last thing you want to do is pour your oil into a dirty funnel. So I always clean my funnel and dump in some of the oil. I think this car takes about 5 quarts, if I'm not mistaken. I think each one of these containers has about 4 quarts. So you'll see me dump 4 quarts out, including the amount I threw in the oil filter, which was probably about half a quart. This is 5W30 Kirkland brand full synthetic. I use it on my minivan. Of course, the minivan takes 0 W20. I use it on my truck, and I use it on my car. So I use it on the LX450, on the GS430, and on my Honda Odyssey. And here we go. I'm gonna dump in the last quart and recheck the oil level. You always want to check your oil level multiple times. You can see I pull the dipstick, wipe it, then make sure I see both sides of the dipstick. Sometimes it's easier to see your level on one side versus the other for whatever reason, and I always like to do it twice. Yep. Clean my funnel. Always make sure you replace the oil cap, because if you don't, you could potentially blow your engine. That oil cap is about as important as it gets. The car will run fine, will idle fine without it, but boy, once you get on the road, you're screwed. Start up the engine, make sure nothing's leaking, and we're good to go. See you guys, till the next time.